Ethan had never been good at dating, not since becoming a single dad. His world revolved around his daughter Lily, his work at the repair shop, and the quiet evenings spent reading bedtime stories that replaced the chaos of his past. So when his best friend convinced him to try a blind date, he agreed only after much hesitation. He arrived early at the small café, his nerves humming like a frayed wire. He kept straightening the sleeves of his only decent shirt, glancing at the door every few seconds. Then she walked in, except not at all in the way he expected. The girl stood at the entrance covered head to toe in mud. Her hair, once probably curly and soft, was stuck to her face in messy streaks. Her clothes, simple and worn, were splattered with thick patches of dirt. The entire cafe fell silent as people stared. She looked terrified, frozen in embarrassment, clutching a small purse like it was the only anchor she had left. Ethan blinked, stunned not by her appearance, but by the sheer panic in her eyes. She scanned the room, clearly debating whether to run or not, until her gaze met his. She opened her mouth to apologize, but nothing came out. Instead, her cheeks flushed with humiliation as she stepped back toward the door. Ethan stood instantly. "Wait," he said softly. She froze. The murmurs around them grew louder, whispers, judgmental eyes, snickers. Ethan walked toward her slowly, gently, as if approaching someone on the edge of breaking. Up close, he noticed small cuts on her hands, scratches on her arms, trembling fingers trying to hold herself together. "Are you okay?" he asked. Not about the mud, not about the spectacle, but about her. She swallowed hard. I'm so sorry. Something happened on the way here. I shouldn't have come like this. I should just leave." But Ethan shook his head. "No, you came. That's enough." She blinked, stunned by the absence of disgust in his voice. He wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't judging. He was simply present. And that alone broke the heaviness sitting on her chest.
Her name was Mia, and after Ethan guided her gently to a quieter corner of the cafe, she finally explained what happened. She had taken a shortcut through a construction site because she feared arriving late. She didn't know workers had left wet soil everywhere. She slipped, fell, and rolled right into the mud pit. People nearby laughed as she struggled to stand. She didn't have time to go home and change. She lived far, her bus only came once an hour, and she didn't want to stand Ethan up. So she came exactly as she was. As she recounted the story, her voice shook, not because of the fall, but because humiliation had followed her like a shadow. She kept tugging at her sleeves, shrinking into herself, as though expecting Ethan to snap or scoff or mock her like everyone else had. But he never did. He listened, really listened. Then he smiled gently and said, "Anyone could have fallen. But most people would have canceled. You still showed up." Mia stared at him, startled. "You're not angry." He laughed softly. "If I were meeting someone perfect, I wouldn't need a blind date." She covered her face with her muddy hands, embarrassed yet relieved. Ethan slid a napkin toward her. "It's just dirt," he said. "You're here. That's what matters." She wiped her cheeks, tears smudging with mud. He didn't flinch, not even a little. Then Lily arrived. Ethan's babysitter had to leave early, so his daughter walked in with her small backpack bouncing against her shoulders. The moment Mia saw her, she panicked. "Oh my gosh, I look crazy, your daughter," but Lily simply gasped with excitement and rushed to Mia. "Whoa, were you fighting a dragon?" Mia blinked, stunned, then laughed for the first time that night, a sound shaky but genuine. Ethan watched, heartwarming. Mia wasn't just kind, she had a softness that soothed Lily instantly. And strangely, Ethan felt something shifting inside him too. 3. The cafe customers continued staring at them, some amused, some annoyed, some pretending not to. But Ethan ignored them all. He ordered warm tea for Mia, even though her hands trembled too much to hold the cup at first. Lily sat beside her, fascinated. "You're the coolest person Dad has ever brought here," she declared. Ethan choked on his drink. Mia's eyes softened with amusement. "I really didn't mean to show up like this," she said, voice fragile. Ethan leaned forward. "I'm glad you did." Her breath hitched slightly. She stared down at her muddy sleeves. It's just, this wasn't how I hoped the night would go. People kept staring. I felt like I didn't belong here. Ethan tilted his head. Do you think I care what they think? She looked up slowly. He held her gaze, unbothered, calm, sincere. That steadiness, something she hadn't felt around anyone in a long time, washed over her. Mia placed her cup down and whispered, "You're not what I expected." Ethan smiled lightly. "Neither are you." Lily giggled. "Dad likes surprising people." Mia blushed, her heart fluttering in ways she had forgotten were possible. She admitted shyly that she worked 2 jobs, barely slept, barely ate, and that this blind date was the first time she had done something for herself in months. "I almost didn't come," she said. "I thought someone like you deserves someone prettier. More put together." Ethan frowned gently. "Someone like me just wants someone real." That sentence made her swallow hard. For the first time since entering the cafe, she didn't feel like running. She felt seen. Really seen. 4. After a while, Ethan suggested they step outside for fresh air since the cafe crowd kept staring. Mia hesitated, afraid people on the street would react worse. But when they stepped outside, the cool night breeze brushed her skin, grounding her. Lily hopped around happily, playing with the fallen leaves. Mia whispered apologetically, "You don't have to keep pretending you're okay with this. I know I look ridiculous." Ethan shook his head. "You look like someone who tried their best to show up. That's more impressive than arriving perfect." She felt her throat tighten. No one had ever spoken to her like that. They walked down the quiet sidewalk, and she opened up more. She confessed she had grown up poor, always judged for her appearance, always told she wasn't good enough, that she'd never be loved by anyone worthwhile. "That's why, when I fell in the mud, I just kept thinking, of course this would happen to me. I almost turned back. I almost didn't walk through that door." Ethan slowed, turning to her fully. "But you did. That says everything." She inhaled sharply, tears threatening again. Ethan gently pulled a clean handkerchief from his pocket. "Here, it's okay." She hesitated, embarrassed, but he insisted. As she wiped her cheeks, Lily ran up between them, holding 2 small flowers she found on the sidewalk. "One for Dad, and one for the muddy princess." Mia laughed through her tears. Ethan grinned. "She thinks you're a princess." Mia whispered, "I don't think anyone's ever called me that." Ethan stepped closer. Maybe they should have. Her heart pounded. No one had ever made her feel like this, valued, welcomed, enough. 5. As they continued walking, the night grew quieter, but something warm bloomed between them. Mia talked about her dreams, ones she had packed away because life had taught her not to expect much. She wanted to study art someday but could barely afford bus fare, let alone school fees. Ethan shared how raising Lily alone taught him patience, humility, and how to find joy in small things. They found a bench under a streetlight and sat together while Lily picked flowers nearby. Mia looked at her muddy clothes and whispered with a shy smile, "I must look like a disaster." Ethan replied softly, "You look like someone who showed up even when life tried to knock you down." She blinked, stunned again. Then she said something so quiet he almost missed it, "No one ever chooses me." Ethan took a breath, steady and deep, then looked directly into her eyes. "I choose you." Mia froze, breath catching in her throat, her heart pounding so hard she felt it echo in her ears. You don't mean that," she stammered. "You don't know me." Ethan shook his head. "I know enough. I know you didn't let embarrassment stop you. I know you pushed through a bad day to give something a chance. I know you're honest, kind, and strong even when you don't feel it. And that's more than enough." Mia wiped her tears again, overwhelmed. "I've never had a man speak to me like that." Ethan smiled softly. "Then maybe you've only met the wrong men." 6. The night slowly shifted into something magical. Mia felt lighter for the first time in years. The mud, the stairs, the humiliation, all of it faded under Ethan's gentle presence. When it was time to walk her to the bus stop, she hesitated, not wanting the night to end. Lily hugged Mia tightly, leaving small smudges of dirt from Mia's jacket on her dress. "Will you come back?" Lily asked. Mia bit her lip. "If your dad wants me to." Ethan stepped closer. "I do." Mia's breath trembled at the sincerity in his voice. As the bus rumbled toward them, Ethan gently took her hand, not caring about the mud at all. Tonight wasn't ruined, he said softly. It was honest, real, and I'd like to see you again, without or even with the mud. She laughed, wiping tears. Are you sure? He nodded. I'm very sure. As she boarded the bus, she turned back one last time. Ethan lifted Lily in his arms, both of them waving. Mia pressed her hand to the window, heart swelling in a way she had never known. She had shown up expecting rejection. She left feeling chosen. And as the bus pulled away, she whispered to herself, stunned and breathless, I think I just met someone who sees me. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of a love story born from mud, courage, and a single dad's unexpected reaction that changed everything.